Mewan, Vanakkam. Welcome to our podcast series Corporate Kuppiya, your go-to space for real-life conversations about the corporate world. I'm Trevon, and I have with me today Mewan. Good morning.
Good morning, Trevon.
What is this Kuppiya? මොකද්ද මේ Kuppiya කියන්නේ Mewan?
Corporate Kuppiya, Trevon, the name speaks for itself. When you have troubles with your semesters, exams, you have missed an entire subject, could be entire semester. You go to this one person. කුප්පියක් දාගන්න කියලා කට්ටියම එකතු වෙලා සෙට් වෙන්නේ. පැයක් දෙකක් එක්ක එක්සෑම් එකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා සෙට් වෙලා ඉන්න බැඩ්ඩගෙන් තමයි අහන්නේ මේ ටික පොඩ්ඩක් අපිට ඉක්මනට ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරලා දෙන්න කියලා. So we are trying to do the same thing here. We are not experts, but we have learned from the best and also the worst.
Yes.
So we are going to talk about corporate life, recruitment, interview preparations, ඔය කාපු කටු, බැටිච්ච නඩු, ගත්ත වංගු, shortcuts, මොනවාද වැඩ කරේ, මොනවාද වැඩ කරේ නැත්තේ, ඒ වගේම මොනවාද හම්බෙච්ච හොඳ advisors, ඒ වගේම හම්බෙච්ච කෙලවෙන්නම හම්බෙච්ච advisors මොනවාද. So we are going to talk about all these things and give advisors tips and tricks on corporate life.
හරි වැරදි කියලා දෙන්න හදන්න.
අනිවාර්යෙන්.
Right. So in today's episode, we are going back to where it all began, Mewan. So back in the day, what the corporate world looked like and how is it today? So Mewan, would you give me a brief introduction about how your work life or maybe your corporate life started, where you stepped in as maybe a junior executive or maybe an intern, and how you excel to what you are today, and what were the challenges that you faced being a junior person?
Yeah, so this was back in 2014. I just got my LL results and I was wondering whether to join a corporate or go for a local uni. And my dream was to go for a uni, and there was this particular uni, A-level commerce කරපු කට්ටිය දන්නා commerce කරා නම් ජපුර තමයි management යන්න තමයි plan එක. Colombo medical bio කරා නම් මොරටුව අපි engineering කරපු කට්ටිය මම හිතන්නේ marketing වලට කැලණිය. ඕක මට ඇත්තටම තාමත් එහෙමත් දන්නේ නැහැ. A-level students දැන් මේ graduate වෙච්ච කට්ටිය තාමත් ඒ trend එක නම් පොඩ්ඩක් comment එකක් දාන්න. තාම ජපුර management ද කැලණිය marketing ද
engineering මොරටුව
engineering නම් මම හිතන්නේ තාම ඒක තියෙනවා. If that's the same case, please drop a comment as well. So for me, I had my brother studying at a local uni, and his advice was, Mewan, go for a corporate. Local uni, even private uni, might give you a degree, but what you lacked is not academics, which you might even get that later. Actually, I ended up doing my BSc at 30. I completed my BSc at 30, so much later. But it worked out really well for me. I did an MBA before. It was different than the usual
that's
procedure.
interesting. Doing an MBA first and then move
I
on
did
to
my
BSc.
MBA first. Yeah, I did a couple of diplomas prior. But that's how it worked out. So for me, it was really an option whether to go to uni or HSBC back then. And I became a banker, but it was a sales job. I didn't even realize until I went there. And in my interview, I thought I was going to be a customer service or a banking teller, but at no point I thought I was going to go for sales. But this was sales that I just started with. And then about 6 years I spent there at HSBC, transitioning from sales to managing relationships and private clients. So that's how we started. And when I started, I think it was about 25,000 plus commissions. That was really decent back then.
You got 25,000
25K.
on your first corporate step. Guys, I got 7,500 when I became an intern, and I dragged it for 1 year. That's how it was.
Yeah, I mean, back then, I think the starting salary was about 7,000 to 15,000.
Yes, that was an intern pay. That was the scale that they gave for an intern.
I don't think interns got salaries back then, Macha.
No, interns did get salaries.
Could be
all
about 5,000, 10,000.
Yes. They got an incentive and allowance.
You can travel කරන්න ওই ටිකට.
දුන්නා. හැබැයි ඇත්තටම salary එකක් හම්බුනේ junior executive වලින් පස්සේ.
මොකද මගේ යාළුවෙක් හිටියා ඔඩිට් ෆර්ම් එකක. මම දන්නේ තාමත් ඔඩිට් ෆර්ම් වල ඔය ගානමද ගෙවන්නේ කියලා. 5,000. ඒ කියන්නේ ගෙදරින් සල්ලි ඉල්ලන් තමයි ඌ වැඩට යන්නේ. එන්නෙත් මං හිතන්නේ ගෙදරින්ම දුන්න සල්ලි වලින්. අපිත් එක්ක ඔය මොන හරි සෙට් වෙන්න ආවත් අපි ගිහිල්ලා එක්කන් එනවා වියදම් කරන්නෙත් අපි ගෙදරට බස්සන්නෙත් අපි. Then he's doing really well and he doesn't let us spend. But for at least 2 3 years, he got about 5,000 to 10,000. I don't know how he survived.
Right. එහෙම කියද්දි the audit firms වල that's a common thing. I think more තාමත් audit firm වල I still see some employees who are applying to our Levein as well. Still they are getting an allowance. They don't get a full pay. It's just an allowance that they're getting. හැබැයි අර intern කාලේ කියන අමුතු vibe එකක් ඒ කාලේ පොඩි කාලේ intern being an intern and still you expect to be a manager while being an intern.
Yeah,
That's what the corporate expects you to be.
Yeah, and being an intern now is different, Trevon. I think even our company, we pay an intern about 50 to 60,000,
Yes.
right? And that become an industry standard.
Yes.
But back then you get just 5,000, 10,000.
Yeah.
ඒ වගේම වැඩ ටිකක් මරවලා ගන්නවා. මම හිතන එක තාමත් වෙනවා.
තාම වෙනවා. ඉන්ටර්න් කාලේ තාම ඔය මරාගෙන අනිවාර්ය that's what I said. Intern කිව්වට you have to act as a manager. You are an acting manager even though you are an intern. You have to make sure that you're doing everything. You have been exposed to this department, the other department. අරේ ගිහිල්ලා sign ගන්න ඕන, අතන්ට ගිහිල්ලා sir කියන්න ඕන, madam කියන්න ඕන. That's how the intern life is. හැබැයි ඒත් එක්කම I wanted to remind something that popped in the intern කාලෙත් හැබැයි අර දැන් අපි කියමු 7,500 5000 හම්බුනාට ඒ කාලේ අපි ජීවත් වුණා සතුටින් ජීවත් වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ සතුටින් කියන්නත් බෑ, you know, it was sufficient for the entire month. 7,500 travel කරන්න පුළුවන්, කන්න පුළුවන්, යාළුවොත් එක්ක එළියට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ අමුතු වයිබ් එකක් තිබ්බේ ඉන්ටර්න් කාලේ.
ඒ කාලේ මං හිතන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් අපි මයිලෝ එක ගානයි මාරි බිස්කට් එකේ ගානයි ගත්තොත් දැන් තියෙන ගානත් එක්කම ඒක 100% ඒක වැඩිලා කියලා. පෙර 50ට තිබ්බ එක දැන් 120 150 ලෙවල් එකට ඇවිල්ලා. කියන අපි කරපු දේවල් එක්ක මං හිතන්නේ ඒ කාලේ අපි මතකයි යූනියන් ප්ලේස් ඔය ඒ ඒරියා එකේ ඉන්න කට්ටිය දන්නවා. ඔය හැමතැනම තියෙනවානේ පොඩි නාන කඩයක් තියෙනවා ඩේටා රොටි කන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ඔතනින් පස්සේ තව දවල්ට කන්න තියෙන මොන හරි ඔය 150 බත් එකක් කන්න. ඔහොම තමයි ඉන්න මුල සෙට් එක කට්ටිය සර්වයිව් වෙන්නේ. ඒකට ඔය සැලරි එක හොඳටම ඇති
වුණා.
ඊට පස්සේ you still maintain that, but then again what you do is when you get the salary, what you do, you go to KFC, Pizza Hut. ඔය කොයි හරි ගිහිල්ලා අම්බාන්ට විදන් කරනවා.
ඒ කාලේ අර ලොකුවට තිබ්බේ KFC Pizza Hut නේ ඒ කාලේ තරලි. We didn't have big franchises here and there. It just KFC Pizza and MC.
Yeah, so McDonald's also was there.
And malls වලට තිබ්බේ Majestic Plaza.
Yeah.
That's right. We didn't have big malls like One Golf X දැන් තිබ්බා වගේ ඒ කාලේ තිබ්බේ නෑනේ.
MC එකේ මචන් තිබ්බ පිට්සා එකක් මතකද? අර 100 මම හිතන්නේ 20ද කොහෙද දැන් නම් කොහොමද දන්නේ නැහැ. 120 හරි 150 හරි මට හරියට ගාන මතක නැහැ. guys ඕගලන් දන්නා මේ මොකද්ද කියන තැන කියලා. සුදු අංකල් කෙනෙක් සුදු ෂර්ට් එකක් ඇඳගෙන මාරම සේල්සි guy. He sells pizza. I think to date he's there.
Is that Pizza Hut or something?
That's not Pizza Hut.
Okay.
So that's a Sri Lankan franchise, like a kade that's selling pizza in MC cafeteria.
Right.
It was like I've gone dates there. Like my date number 1, I think I went there. ඒ කාර්ය ලව් කරන්න ගත්ත කාලේ අපි MC ගිහිල්ලා වින්ඩෝ shopping කරලා මොකද මචං ඔතනින් බඩු ගන්න සල්ලි නැහැ මේ ඕල වල කාර්ේ ඔතනින් ගිහිල්ලා පොඩි කොටුවක් පැනලා ඔතනින් පිට්සා එකක් කාලා තමයි එන්නේ. ඒ වගේම ඔතන තියෙනවා තව නාසියකුත්. ඔය එතන ඔක්කොම මික්ස් කරලා දෙන බත් එකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් නම් කොහොමද දන්නේ මම හිතන්නේ ඕක දැන් ඔක්කොම should be about 1,000. So that's the problem. I mean, even if you get now 60,000, we can't really compare the time that we had back then.
Yeah.
How we
transport and then, you know, with families and then still enjoying life back then. It's not that we are not enjoying. Of course, the Gen Zs are enjoying more than us. But still, I would say the vibe, it's nostalgic. Those days when, you know, you had to travel by bus or train, that's compulsory. You would have a car being an intern. And then going to office, staying there. Sometimes you are being asked to wait after 5. එහෙමත් තිබ්බනේ ඒකල ඩිටෙන්ෂන් එකක් වගේනේ ඉස්කෝලේ ඩිටෙන්ෂන් තිබ්බා වගේ ඔෆිස් එකේ ඩිටෙන්ෂන් තියෙනවා. පහෙන් පස්සේ ඉන්න ඕනේ, අර වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ, මේ ෆයිල් එක හදන්න ඕනේ, අරක කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. හතමාරින් පස්සේ මේ බොස් කෙනෙක් මට මතකයි I had a boss මේ Trevon වැඩ ඉවරද මේ ඔයාව ඩ්‍රොප් කරන්න ඕන නම් ඩ්‍රොප් කරන්න කියලා. මම එයාත් එක්ක යන්නේ. තේරුම් නැහැනේ අපේ යාළුවෝ සෙට් එකත් එක්ක we just, you know, පොඩි කුප්පියක් වගේ තමයි ආයිත් එකතු වෙලා කොහේ හරි ඉතින් ගිහිල්ලා survival. Right. එතකොට මෙවන් what were the challenges that you faced? Then කියමුකෝ දැන් yes you got a minimum salary. කියමු intern කාලේ. එතනින් එහාට තිබ්බ challenges කොහොමද? work space එක කොහොමද? culture එක තිබ්බේ කොහොමද ඒ කාලේ? managers කෙන්න පුළුවන් වගේ නැත්නම් එක හිටපු සහෝදරයෙක් හරි නැත්නම් එක සහ වැඩ කරන එක්කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. යා කොහොමද සැලකුවේ intern කාලේ? intern hari junior කාලේ
ජූනියර් කාලේ Trevon තිබ්බ ලොකුම ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි අපි ඊළඟ තැනට excel වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන ප්‍රශ්නේ. Why I joined a bank also is the same reason I gave up my uni life.
Yeah.
Because I'm not from an English speaking background. I think most of us Sri
Most
Lankans
of
we
us,
don't have that privilege. You are very lucky if you have that background. Then අර සිංහලෙන් හිතලා ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කතා කරන්න නැති ඔයා ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේට් කරනවා. ඒක තමයි ඔයා හදාගන්න ඕනේ පළවෙනි දේ. ඔයා ඉංග්‍රීසි කතා කරන්න පුරුදු වෙනවා නම් ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් හිතන්න ගන්න එක. ඒක මාර අමාරු දෙයක්. So how I reached that, how I gave up that thinking model and adapted to a new thinking model was actually trying to go to classes. I think I spent some time and money on British Council as well. So and got my language right. And I could present, but not in English. Not that I speak like a native right now. Grammar police, if you are here, you can put some comments. I'm open for improvements as well.
Yes.
So those were the initial challenges I had. And of course, after that, what was I going to study? I think I did this diploma for business management, which didn't really add any value to me. So you need to go for right people to get some solid advice when it comes to education. If you're not someone who's pursuing your A-levels, like the higher studies just after your A-levels, if you're doing a job and thinking, okay, I'm going to study part-time, you really need to figure out whether this will align with your future self that you want to be.
That's actually a good point. That's a very good message to the current generation as well, because we need people to guide, let's say, after A-levels, because back in the days, all that I know is management. When you want to do a degree, when you want to do a diploma, it's just management. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do business management, because that's available diploma or degree in the market. So and then then gradually IT came in, and then we had IT degrees, and then but that back in the day, it's just management. Even though you do commerce, you do arts, you either do, if you're doing it privately, you do a management degree or a management this thing, and then you decide, okay, what am I gonna do next? That's where you question yourself, am I gonna go to the correct department? Am I doing marketing? Am I doing sales? Because you have no background, or you have no foundation with your education soon after A levels.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point where you can highlight, or maybe if we have more people to show, or maybe to guide the youngsters, right, these days, what is the pathway? Because when it comes to IT also, IT is also diversified now. IT now, it's like you get multiple degrees in IT, not just one degree. Now the AI, when AI කිව්වම AI වලක් තියෙනවා segment කරලා. So still youngsters struggle soon after A-levels. මේක කරනවද අරක කරනවද, මේක කරොත් අරක job එක හම්බෙනවද කියලා, still they struggle.
Yeah. The thing is, Masang, I think schools, not the universities, at advanced level and all levels, I think there should be more seminars with experts in the industry, veterans in the industry, come in and educating these children.
Correct.
How to choose your path, because we focus too much on advanced level and getting 4As to sending them to a local unit. At the end of the day, there's about 270,000 to 350,000 students sit for A-levels each year. From there, about 40,000, 42,000 are the max that get to go to local uni.
Correct.
And we have another, I think, about 20 to 30 private universities as well. And a fraction of people migrate to do their degrees as well. But even if you take that amount, let's say another 40,000, we are left with another 200,000 people. These children might not be getting any education at all. And what are they doing? I couldn't find any stats on that. Just after A-levels, how many students go to which stream? So I was thinking, I see a lot of people doing now like TikToks and tuk-tuks also. පාරේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි දකිනවා A-level ඉවරෙච්ච ගමන් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට කොල්ලෝ tuk-tuk එකට යනවා, කෙල්ලෝ TikTok එකට යනවා. TikTok is also has become a mainstream now. I mean, the digital creation, it's a new venture. But then again, not everybody can do it. So what are they going to do? So that's a real question that we need to ask the industry, and also as a government, they should focus on empowering these children. Which stream that they should actually focus on. ඕක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් මචං. මම හිතන්නේ මේ අපිට තිබ්බ මට තිබ්බ
ප්‍රශ්න විල දැන් මගේ අයියා talking about my background also, අද අපේ තාත්තලා හැමෝම business පැත්ත. දැන් මම විතරයි දැන් මගේ අයියාත් business, මල්ලිත් දැන් business එකේ බහලා ඉන්නේ. මම විතර corporate sector එකට දැන් ගිහිල්ලා දැන් excelling corporate. එතකොට ඒත් අර අර අපිට කියලා දෙන්න, or maybe someone to guide you, soon after A levels you are supposed to do this, and once you do this you can either choose this department or this department, and then that's how you excel කියලා. The reason for me to tell you is මචන් මේ මම intern දැන් මම දැන් HR එකේ තැනක හිටියට මගේ පළවෙනි job එක ඇවිල්ලා customer support, customer service කරේ. එතකොට ඒතනත් හරියට we didn't have a proper pathway, and what is the department that I'm going to choose, am I going to do HR, am I doing marketing, what is my passion, ඒක තාම I couldn't find it.
How did you transition from customer service to HR? That's a huge term.
I was in customer support for 1 year. I was working in one of the companies in China there. I don't want to mention them here, but yeah, that's how I got recruited. But the reason is they gave transport දෙනවා කිව්වා. So I පොඩ්ඩක් හරි කමන්න නැති ආයිතින් බස් එකක් අරන් යන්න බෑ කියලා 7500. So still customer support wasn't my thing, but I did have that exposure for 1 year, and then I realized, is it actually my thing? Am I gonna do something with customer support? Am I good in dealing with customers? බැනුම් අහන එක විතරයි මම දැක්කේ ඒ කාලේ මට. So then I realized, okay, with my education right now, by the time I was doing a diploma in HR, in people HR, so then I really thought, okay, maybe moving to an intern again is going to be it's going to be challenging for me, but can't help, that is the step where I have to take, that is the number one challenge that I have to take, but still I have wasted 1 year of my time. I don't call it as a waste. That's also an exposure that I got to, to know about corporates, not just corporate, what is this environment, toxic bosses like how the employees කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි, අද ඉන්නවා, people leave, people come, that is how the corporate culture is going to be කියලා. And then that's how I excelled to again being an HR intern for 6 months again. එතකොට 15යි පණියේ.
Oh, okay.
7500ක් හම්බුණා.
It's an increment.
Increment එකක් වගේ තමයි. ඒතකොට ආයි intern විදිහටදී 15000ක් දුන්නා. හැබැයි වැඩේ තියෙන්නේ transport නෑ.
Oh, okay. So net loss is this.
මේ පැත්ත 7500 transport අරකට transport නෑ. Then I went to one of the blue chip companies in Sri Lanka right now. I was an intern there. But I think that is also one of my turning curve where I actually knew, okay, this is my passion, this is my pathway, this is where I need to excel one day. මෙතනට කවදාරි එන්න ඕනේ, මෙතනින් පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ. මෙතන if there's no start, then there's no end. So I needed to start there. And මොකද ඒ කාලේ අර කල්චර් එක ගැන කතා කරොත් එහෙම දැන් මම කලින් හිටපු intern period and the period that I was hit as an HR intern is totally different. It's totally different. But it's all experiences. I still remember the days where I used to call my senior sir, madam, make a karam this, because it's a single culture, machan. Even though it's a blue chip company, you talk in English and you send emails in English and everything, of course, machan.
It's sir madam කියලා තමයි කතා කරන්නේ.
culture එක sir madam. Sir මේ අර approval එක දෙන්න පුළුවන් sir, අර මේ sir එනකන් ඉන්න ඕනේ sir කියලා. And the best part is machan, ඒ approval ගන්න දවස් දෙකක් විතර ඉන්න ඕනේ. දවසක් ගිහිල්ලා, and you can't send an email to get approval, everything is physical. Everything is physical. නෑ emails දීලා approval ගන්න.
එතකොට efficiency කොහොමද company එකේ?
Company
දවස් දෙකක් යනවා.
So this company has employs nearly 4000 5000 employees. ඒතකොට කොහොමද efficiency එකක් තියෙනවා, because that has been there for the last 20 to 25 years. හැබැයි sir madam culture එක තියෙනවා. So wherever you go, එතනට ගිහිල්ලා මේ sir අර කොල්ලේ මන් දීලා ආවා වගේ මේසෙ approval දෙනවාද කියලා, and then again the next day I have to go back and say මේ sir අර approval මට වැඩ තියෙනවා දැන් කරන්න බෑ, අත පස්සේ කරන්න කියලා again the next day.
ඒක කොහොමද අර නිකන් god like attitude එකක් එනවනේ ඒ නමත් එක්ක sir madam culture එකේ. මගේ 10 years වලට මට ඔය experience එක නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ sir madam culture එකක මම වැඩ කරලා නෑ, but there was one time I worked for an organization which had a traditional mindset, I would say. Even during COVID, we were supposed to go to work when everybody was working from home. So that was the only bad experience. Of course, I had worked in toxic cultures, under toxic managers. This happens when you start, actually. I think when you are a junior, a lot of people try to take advantage of you.
Oh, අර sir madam culture එක toxic කියන්නත්, but I don't call it toxic, but ඒක ඇත්තටම වෙන්නේ it's more likely a servant master scene එකක් තියෙන්නේ. Okay, so
ඇයි ඔය එක toxic කියලා හිතන්නේ නැති? මට නම් ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක නිකන් toxic ගතියක් තියෙනවා.
toxic හිතෙන්නේ නැත්තේ මොකද ඒකේ අර ඒක අර from the very beginning this culture came in as surname මොකද 2000 ගානේ පටන් ගත්ත business එක. ඒතකොට ඒ කාලේ
ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ mindset එකෙන් අවුරුදු ගානටම change වෙලා නැහැ.
change වෙලා නැහැ. adapt වෙලා නැහැ අලුත් trend එකට. So what they do is even though you can't call your seniors by their name, you have to call them sir.
Okay.
Address with them as sir. If let's say X quotes sir නැත්නම් X sir Y sir එහෙම කියන්න ඕනේ. Y madam X madam කියලා කියන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම culture එකක්. So but that is I don't call that toxic මොකද අපි toxic කියලා ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේවන් හැම පැත්තම එතකොට අපිගේ ඔළුවේ තියෙන්නේ corporate කියන toxic කියලා.
ඔව් නෑ නෑ. ඕකේ මචං ඔය කියන point එක මට තේරෙනවා. දැන් මමත් වැඩ කරා, يعني මම serve කරා customers clientele එකකට ඒකේ තිබ්බ ඔය සර් මැඩම් කල්චර් එක. හැබැයි මං හිතන්නේ ඒක ඒගොල්ලන්ට ටොක්සික් කියලා. ඒක හැබැයි අර out of respect වගේ තමයි ඒගොල්ලන් ඒක යූස් වුනේ. ඒක මට පොඩ්ඩක් කළොත් මොකද මං ඒක ඒ environment එකක ඉඳලා නැති හින්දා. හැබැයි සමහරවිට මම දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද මං ඒක තන කම්පැනි එකේ වැඩ කරේ නැති හින්දා ඒකෙත් තිබ්බේ හයිරාකි එක අනුව හැමෝම සර් මැඩම් කියලා තමයි යන්නේ. මං හිතන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන් ඒ අවුරුදු ගාණක් ඒගොල්ලන් වැඩ කරලා ඒකට පුරුදු වෙලා ඒකට හැඩ ගැහිලා තිබ්බ. මට එකම තිබ්බ ප්‍රශ්නේ අර අපි සර් මැඩම් මයින්ඩ්සෙට් එකේ ඉද්දී will they oppose if there's something wrong? Will they raise their voice? Will there be a whistleblower?
Yes.
So that's my concern. If there's a culture like that where you have to respect out of your experience solely, but not because of your expertise or skill set and the value that bring in. අර තියෙනවනේ පරණ වුණත් බූරුවමයි අලුත් වුණත් අස්සයමයි කියලා. That's why some organizations bring in young people to their leadership as well to change certain things, right?
Yeah.
Will that happen the same way in these organizations when you have a structure like that who's hierarchically have gained their respect through experience?
I think that's a very tricky question that once we take this culture and when we talk the culture is also divided into toxic culture, non-toxic culture. The toxic culture at the thema the past decade from the past decade Sri Lankan's unemployment rate now comparing to previous for the last 10 years to now the unemployment rate has decreased from 5.7 to 4.3.
Yeah.
That's a drastic change percentage. Again now those days ඒක අර සර් කියන්න හේතුව මොකද you want to keep your job මචං.
Yeah.
ඒ කාලේ you don't have a jobs in the market. So what you do is you stay there as much as කොච්චර කට්ට කෑවොත් හරි මොන සර් කිව්වොත් හරි වැඳලා හරි කකුල් දෙක අල්ලලා හරි job එක ඕනේ සර් මට ඉච්චරයි. එතකොට you have to stay but what I see is the silver lining from that is you get an experience there. මොකද ඒ experience එක you get that pressure and then you mold yourself accordingly and then you know okay I should not do that to my juniors. You get what I'm saying? Once I become a senior, I should not do that. Yeah. That's where you get that understanding.
Yeah, and that is very subjective also. I mean, the company that I told you that we had a toxic work culture. There were people who have stayed for 15, 20 years. When we had a discussion with them, ඒගොල්ලන්ට එක ගාණක් නැහැ මොසන්. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒක තමයි ඒක ආස. දැන් ඒක සමහරලාට අපිට හිතෙන්න පුළුවන් මේක ටොක්සික් කියලා. අපි තව කෙනෙක්ට හිතෙන්න පුළුවන් නෑ මේක මට ඕකේ කියලා. අපි එන බෑග්ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකත් එක්ක අපේ එක්ස්පෙක්ටේෂන්ස් එක්ක එක්ස්පෝෂර් එකත් එක්ක සමහරලාට ඒක එහෙම වෙන්නත් නොවෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. දැන් මම දිගටම හිටියේ මතන් සේල්ස් කියන සේල්ස් වල අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයාට ප්‍රෙෂර් කියන එක තියෙනවනේ ස්ට්‍රෙස් එක තියෙනවා. Especially banking sales ඊට පස්සේ software sales වලට આવත් ඔයා target පස්සෙමයි දුවන්නේ. So because of that you will have stress and one might even define it as toxic. So that's there too. But then again this new generation might have a different view on that.
Yeah, that's true. Again talking about gen now we have the millennials boomers the boomers කාලේ තමයි sir man ඊට පස්සේ millennials understood they adapted okay I should not call these people sir. And now it's about time where I should be earning respect. I should have my level of respect. And then they try to move. The fact is they didn't move for some time is because there was no proper jobs in the market. And then, companies were evolving by that time. And soon after 2000s, after 2000, companies, putting companies aiming at the, and then people start to move away. I still remember back in the days, if you stay for more than 5 years in a company, you are a star.
Yeah.
If you leave in 5 years, they're not going to ask the company why he left. They're going to ask you, why is there any issues with the company?
Yeah.
But nowadays, Gen Zs, I don't call them Gen Zs now, the youngsters, what they do is they stay minimum 2 years.
Yeah.
අවුරුදු දෙකයි ඉන්නේ. අවුරුදු දෙකකින් පස්සේ they want to move. And I think that's a smart move. I think in a way that's very smart because they get that expertise for 2 years and then they tend to move to seeking for better opportunities as well, because now opportunities in the market is
Yeah, much. I think when we started and compared to now, there was not enough opportunities for us to move. Like my first job, I stayed for 6 years. Then my second job, 3 years, 9 months, and then 3 years, and again just 12 months. So, but I realized also, you might have to take a gamble and change as well if you are looking for your dream job.
correct.
So I think Gen Zs, the youngsters, are doing it better.
Correct. As I told you, in the year 2015, from the year 2015 to 2024, the unemployment rate has come down from 5.1% to 4.3%, which means Gen Zs are not staying, but they are not staying in one place. They are moving here and there, but they are getting jobs. They are getting themselves employed. So now, as I told you, 5 years. If you stay for 5 years, you are asked, if you're leaving, they ask what's your issue? Why are you leaving? You can stay for another 5 more years and serve the company. But now, when it comes to Gen Zs, again, what they do is, now if they want to move, then now if they stay more than 2 years, or if they stay more than 2 years, that's going to be a problem. Why I stay for 2 years? Can't you move? There are so many opportunities and other 2 years වලින් පස්සේ මාරු වෙනවා. That's how the advice is being delivered. So again, talking about skills and career growth also. Now again, දැන් අපි කියමු ඔයාගේ පොඩි කාලේ කියන්නේ you would have had something in your mind පොඩි කාලේ මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනට යන්න ඕනි කියලා. එතකොට ඔයා හිතපු දේද, ඔයා did you think that you will be here today as a salesperson? Was that your goal? Was that your passion at one point?
No, Trevon. So when I started with HSBC, but before that, I think I had achieved one part of what I wanted as my job. That was to travel. So, but when I started at HSBC, I didn't have that. I was considering Sri Lankan Airlines as well. I have this cousin who's tall and handsome, and I looked at him. මිනිස්සුන්ට කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් තියෙනවා, බැරි දේවල් තියෙනවා. දැන් මූත් එක්ක බැලුවම පස්සේ මම බැලුවා මේක හරියන එකක් නැහැ. කොට ජීවිතවලට මතන් අහස ගොඩක් දුරයි. මේක හරියන්නේ නැහැ වගේ එකක් මට ආවා. මම බැංකුවක් වගේ අවුලක් නැහැ, and it was HSBC. So they had the right platform and also good training model. So I thought this is the best place for me to start. And in 2016, I came across these two gentlemen I met, and I walked into Oracle and Cisco. That's when I find out there's a role for sales guys in IT. And you get to travel, you get to sell products in different other countries, and that immediately became my dream. ඒ 2016 ඉඳන් මචං 2020 වෙනකම් මම ඇප්ලිකේෂන්ස් දාලා ති 150ක් 200ක් විතර මට මුකුත් මාවේ නැහැ.
අන්න එකයි.
අන්තිමේදී මං හිතුවා මොකක් හරි දැන් ක්වොලිෆිකේෂන් එකක් කරනවා කියලා. මොකද මගේ තිබ්බේ බිස්නස් මැනේජ්මන්ට් ඩිප්ලෝමාස් දෙකක් තිබ්බා ඒ වෙද්දි. MBA එකක් ස්ටාර්ට් කරලා තිබ්බා. ඒත් හරි ක්වොලිෆිකේෂන් එකක් මට තිබ්බේ නැහැ. ඒත් එක්කම තමයි මට බ්‍රේක් එකක් එන්නේ IT සේල්ස් වලට යන්න. ඒක ගත්තම Trevon, ඒ ගත්ත චේන්ජ් එක අන්තිම අවුරුදු 4ක් දැන්. I've traveled 10 countries. I've gone to countries like Ethiopia, Morocco, Tunisia, which I never thought I would go.
Right.
2 years back, I went to Las Vegas. Those are dreams coming true.
Correct.
I always want to travel, and also being a salesman, but I didn't know I was good at sales. I figured out on the way. And when I was 27, I started my degree in software engineering. I did my HND because that's the passion. To sell IT, you need to know at least the basics. මොනාද programming languages කියන්නේ, stack එක මොනාද, ඔය ටික පොඩ්ඩක් basic දේවල් දැනන් ඉන්නවනම් ඔයාට හොඳයි. එතකොට මචං ඕකත් එක්ක අද මම ඉන්න තැන I'm doing my dream job, but it is not actually what I wanted. I think unless you are going to be a software engineer, a doctor or lawyer, or අනිත් field එකකට යනවා නම් ඔය banking, customer service ඒ වගේ යනවා නම් you can't really define මම මේක මෙහෙම වෙනවා කියන එක. එහෙම පුළුවන්. ඒ පාර යද්දි ඔයාලට හිතෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ පාරෙන් හැරලා මේක යන එක මට හොඳයි.
හොඳයි කියලා. ඒකට වයසකුත් නැහැ. You can decide any age, at any age. දැන් 40 ඉඳන් මම දැකලා තියෙනවා still seen people migrating from 40s and then they tend to get their new jobs there wherever they move. So again, talking back, then එතනදී මට mention කරා again where you say you need to have a qualification කියලා. හැබැයි දැන් මෙවා නො දැක්කත් දන්නේ මේ ළඟදී මෑතකදී මම කිව්වා 2024 LinkedIn data වල තියෙනවා 89% of the hiring managers are prioritizing soft skills now. It's not they are not
Absolutely,
they are not
absolutely.
prioritizing they are not prioritizing technical expertise. දැන් වාට ඒ කාලේ තිබ්බා මේ මට මේ app එකේ මේව කරන්න පුළුවන් sales වල මෙච්චර target එකක් ගේන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් එහෙම නෙමෙයි. This is what the data shows in the year 2024. LinkedIn hiring managers from LinkedIn are hiring people only focusing on soft skills, and that is 89% verified. Just say I have all the degrees that I want. PhD වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, දැන් MBA වෙන්න පුළුවන්, හැම එකක් තිබුණාට, but I'm still unable to, I'm finding a job for me is challenge. The reason is my soft skills. Also soft skills, also you have three main things, that is communication, your adaptability, and your teamwork, especially in corporate. ඒ තුනම තිබ්බොත්, these main three, if you have these three sets of skills, apart from the skills that you pursue, if you have these things, of course you can scale in your career ladder, and that's solid. That is very solid.
Yeah,
What do you think
Trevon.
on that?
So that's absolutely true. I mean, when we have conversation with our clients also, how many of our clients say we need a degree from this university or that university?
None.
Even at UK level, when we send our recruits and candidates, they don't really emphasize on that. මේ ඩිග්‍රියක් කරන්න එපාවත් ඩිග්‍රියක් පර්සිව් කරලා ඒකට එපා කියන එකට මේකක් නෙමෙයි මේක. ඩිග්‍රියකින් දෙන්න පුළුවන් වැලියු එක, ඒක there's no argument on that. හැබැයි ඔයා ඩිග්‍රී එකක් කරන ගමන් ඔයාගේ soft skills, ඔයා ඉන්ටර්විව් එකකට කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ, ඔයාට ප්‍රසන්ටේෂන් එකක් කොහොමද කරන්නේ, Toastmasters වගේ තියෙන groups වලින් ඔයා join වෙනවා නම් ඒ වලින් තියෙන benefits.
Correct.
මචං ඒවා ඩිග්‍රියකින් ගන්න බෑ. ඩිග්‍රියක් කරද්දී ඔයාව ඒ වගේ තැන්වලට තල්ලු කරන්නේ ඒකයි. ඒවා තමයි වැදගත්ම දේවල්. අපි කරන, ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කොහොමද දේවල් කරන්නේ, ඔයා ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේ ඇප්ලයි කරන ස්කිල් එක, ඒක වෙනම එකක්. ඩිග්‍රියක් කරත් හෝ නැතත් ඔයා පටන් ගන්න තැනින් how you are going to do it, whether you have passion for it, that talks a lot about your character as well. Then how you are going to apply those things. So your soft skills, I would say, would be number one. And then your exposure and also the experience. And about LinkedIn, Trevon, one thing I want to emphasize is something that I did, and I have seen, I got this advice from one of my managers, and it really worked out for me, especially when I was trying to get a break from being a banker and to come to IT software sales. I reached out to people on LinkedIn, sending messages, multiple messages, asking if I can have 5 minutes with them, and I'm aspiring to be where they are right now. What did you do?
Correct.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people that will get back to you. If you just say hi, I think a lot of people misuse LinkedIn. If you are doing sales purely, then it's a different story. But you can use that as a tool to reach out to people. Reach out to people, even it could be 4-5 years elder to you in a senior level. Send a message saying, hey, so and so, I want to be where you are in 4 years. What did you do? Can I have just 5 minutes? Can we connect on Google, Zoom, Teams? I got to meet some of the CMOs, CFOs, and CEOs. They became my clients after when I reached out to them, because I could sell my banking products as well. There are people who would really, really help you out. So if you are a junior, if you could be in a senior position as well. If you aspire to be a CEO, send a couple of messages to CEOs. They will get back to you. Send a couple of messages to someone who's in a senior position. Use your LinkedIn and reach out to people. Ask for a 5 minutes or 10 minutes interview, or just to catch up so they can share what they did. And that will add a mountain of knowledge to your exposure.
And you don't have to think what they will think of you if you're going to send down a message. Of course, they will not think, because they are also schemed leaders where they came from the level that you were, right? Talking about that again, I just want to emphasize this as well. Now, when I started as a tool, I was an intern, and then I was an executive for 3 years. So the reason for me to excel myself directly as a manager. So I wasn't a senior executive. I wasn't promoted as an assistant manager. I directly became a manager soon after my executive level. That's how I excel. So the reason is not because of my skills or not because of my education. It's all because of the community. If you have a proper circle, if you have someone to guide you, nevertheless, it doesn't need to be after your A levels, it doesn't need to be after your degree. Even though at one point you should know, okay, I should reach out to these people, I should reach out to these people. And also you mentioned about Toastmasters is also something very important, because I'm also a Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster, where I'm with I was there with 2 clubs. So the lesson that you could get is the more circle that you create in a corporate world, not in the current company that you're working. Current company, of course, you can create a circle, but it depends on how big your circle is out of your company, out of your working culture. The more circle you have, of course, you will excel, because that's where they will guide you step by step. They will tell you, or maybe you can learn from them. You don't have to ask them questions, but once you see them, of course, once you have a chat with them, you know where they were and how they are, right? So as I told you, them executive කාලේ ඉඳන් අර මට තාම I still wanted to see how a senior executive කාලේ කොහොමද තියෙන්න ඕනේ, assistant manager කෙනෙක් වුණත් කොහොමද කියලා. මොකද I didn't have that experience. මම කෙලින්ම intern වෙලා executive පස්සේ කෙලින්ම manager. අතට එහෙම එන්න හේතුව it's not luck. I would say it's not luck. It's the community, it's the skill base, and it's also it's a mix of what you have. So once you polish everything, of course you will excel in life. You will come to that level, and of course the dream job එකක් එන්නත් ඉතින් මේ කාලේ හැමෝටම තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ මට either මම dream job එකක් කරනවද නැත්නම් මම TikTok කරනවද නැත්නම් business එකක් කරනවද කියලා. දැන් මොකද දැන් මේ you can earn money not just by doing a 9 to 5 now. 9 to 5 was there before to earn money. Now if you want to earn, you can do, there are several pathways for you to earn. So එතකොට Mewan, what is the advice you can give to a Gen Z, එහෙම නැත්නම් youngsters වලට? දැන් if you are gonna perceive it like දැන් අද හෙට පටන් ගන්න කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. දැන් O level ඉවරයි, A level ඉවරයි. දැන් ඊළඟට මම මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? දැන් මේ job එක මම පටන් ගන්නවද? මෙතන කොළඹට ඇවිල්ලා job එකක් කරනවද? නැත්නම් මම කොහේ හරි වෙන කොහේ හරි ගිහලා job එකක් කරනවද? ඒකත් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. What do you think on that? What's your perspective?
අපි ගත්තොත් මචන් දැන් ඉන්න environment එකේ අපි start කරද්දි තිබ්බේ you learn first and then you earn. දැන් මේ barrier එක නැහැ. You can learn and then earn at the same time. Digital creators ගත්තොත් අපි ඉන්න කාලේ TikTok creators ලා කියලා හිටියේ නැහැ. දැන් තියෙනවා ඒ වගේ ඔයගේ business එක TikTok එකෙන් run කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම දැන් ගත්තොත් 100% remote jobs තියෙනවා. මම හිතන්නේ අපි තව session එකක ඔය ගැන දීර්ඝව කතා කරනවා. එතකොට ඔයාට කොළඹට එන්න ඕනේද? ඔයා කොහෙද ඉන්නේ කියන එක ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි. If we take our people, we have about 50 people living in like Kandy, far from Kandy, even Bandarawela, in Jaffna, Trinco, in down south. So they don't come to office, right? So you don't really have to come to Colombo also to find a job. But what you need to work on is your experience, your exposure, and also your connections. ඔයාගේ connections තමයි මචං වැදගත්ම strongම capacity එක. ඔයා ගාල්ලේ හිඳන් වුණත්, ඔයා මාතර හිටියත්, ඔයා ට්‍රින්කෝ හිටියත්, ඔයාට LinkedIn එකේ කොළඹ ඉන්න කාත් එක්ක හරි connect වෙලා message එකක් දාලා මට මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් දැනගන්න ඕනේ කිව්වොත් මං හිතන්නේ කවුරුත් ඒක reply කරලා මට වෙලාවක් නැහැ එහෙම කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා product එකක් sell කරනවා නම් මචං I have 100 of unreplied messages. That's a different story. But if I had seeken any advice from someone, they would get back to you. Or junior කෙනෙක් නම් ඔයාට යන්න ඕනේ ඔයාගේ තියෙනවා නම් මට join වෙන්න ඕනේ MIT, මට join වෙන්න ඕනේ WSO2, or මට join වෙන්න ඕනේ People's Bank, or HSBC, John Keys. ඒකේ ඉන්න තැනක ඉන්න කෙනෙක්ට කතා කරලා මේ process එක පොඩ්ඩක් දැනගන්න. ඒ වගේම මචං ගොඩක් දැන් මේ වගේ podcast, YouTube videos ගොඩක් තියෙනවා කොහොමද අපි upskill අපේ තියෙන skill එක අපි වැඩි කරගන්න කියන එක. So do those things and don't think too much on, like, don't spend time worrying, but start actioning on those things.
Right. And also then ඉස්සර වගේ නෙමෙයි, ඉස්සර course එකක් කරන්න අපි we have to search here and there what is a course. Now you can get all the courses up there. Are also paid courses and free courses as well. The AI got that, of course. Now with the intervention of AI, you can do various things. AI is like a vast thing where you can put yourself there. You just have to give a prompt and it gives you an idea, it gives you an advice as well. You don't necessarily don't need to seek a physical person for advice. AI is also your partner to give you advices. So again, as we discuss, the main three things for you to excel in life or maybe excel in your career ladder, it would be mainly focus on your skills, for polish your skills, not just focusing on it. Make sure you polish it, because over time skills also degrade, you know, they depreciate. The කාලයක් යද්දී the English කතා කරන්න නැති වුණාම ඔය English පුක් පුක් කාලා බහිනවා. So make sure you polish your skills, and then of course, then coming back to community, as Mewan told, make sure your community is also built, not just staying in one place and one, you know, අර ලිඳේ හිටියා වගේ නෙමෙයි, පොඩ්ඩක් එළියට ඇවිල්ලා මේ කට්ටිය කවුද, අර කට්ටිය මේ මහත්තයා මෙතන ඉන්නවා, this person is from this place, I can to be there, I can connect with him. නැත්නම් you can maybe search through Facebook, then LinkedIn එකේ කතා කරන්න. Sometimes people get this thing, okay, what will they think about LinkedIn? Because I had the feeling also at way back, LinkedIn, is it okay for me to text a, you know, a big shop? But you can maybe reach out through Facebook also. Just drop a message and see if they just trying your luck. As you told, of course, there will be no people, there will be no you know, big shots saying, I can't talk to you, I don't have time. They will come down to you, they will at least give you a session to talk. And that's the second part, where you make sure your circle is big. And what would be the third, Mewan? දැන් අපි ස්කිල්ස් අනිවාර්යෙන් පොලිෂ් කරන්න ඕනේ, කමියුනිටි පොලිෂ්, කමියුනිටි එකක් අනිවාර්යෙන් තියාගන්න. ඊටු ටික ඇවිල්ලා අපි ඒක පොඩි පෝෂන් එකක් තියෙන්නේ ඔයාලගේ এডুকেෂන් පැත්ත. අනිවාර්යෙන් এডুকেෂන් එකක් දැන් මෙන්න සමහර කට්ටිය කියනවා දැන් මට දැන් ඩිග්‍රී එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ, පොඩ්ඩක් ඉතින් පොඩි කෝස් එකක්, ඉංග්‍රීසි කෝස් එකක් කරලා එතනින් එහාට මොකක් හරි කරගෙන යන්නේ, ඉංග්‍රීසි කෝස් එකක් හරි මාකටිංగ్ කෝස් එක. මොකද now Facebook වල I still recently I was just scrolling and I saw there was a marketing course also for just 3,800. And of course, you get something out of it, but still try to learn. And if you're okay to pay and learn. But there are also free courses. Make sure you pay and get the free education as well. That's I think with those three connected, Mewan, of course, in your junior stage you don't need much.
Yeah.
If you have those three, of course, once you become a manager, you need to have more, of course, the skills and your you know, the repo and the gestures and everything depends. But once you're in the junior stage of your, or maybe if you're a senior executive, of course, make sure you are excelling in these three, and that will make sure next year or the year or two you will make sure that you are coming up in your career ladder as well.
So guys, to sum up what we discussed in the episode, the essential message is that you have to start somewhere. We had to start somewhere. Everyone who's there right now, as a CEO, as a business owner, has to start somewhere. Zero. Everybody started with zero. So start immediately. That's our message. You might have not an idea where you want to be, but when you start, take your first steps, and you walk alone, you will get an idea where you want to be. So start somewhere. And if you need any advice on corporate life, recruitment, interviews, and things like that, if you want to get more advice on this, you can connect with me. I'm Mewan. We'll put our LinkedIn link as well.
And I'm Trevon. You can also reach out to me for any advices. Of course, we are open to.
And if you think you need much more expertise advice, we have just 10 years experience in the industry. We'll try to connect you with more people as well. But the essential message and what we are trying to do is to make it better for people who are trying to start, who are trying to excel in corporate life.
Yes, and this doesn't apply not only to corporate life. If you want to start with your business, if you want to start with anything, please start today. That is the message for today.
And we will come back to you with more content on remote work, what happened with COVID and how we survived that.
And how AI is taking over the corporate world, and how we should survive with AI, and what is the race that we are going to go ahead with AI and also with corporate. And also stay tuned.
Like our page, follow us on TikTok and also YouTube. Subscribe to Levein Group as well. And stay tuned, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.